Pigweed here. Today we review a porter and discuss what does it take to become a citizen. Well, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Pigweed. How's it going?
Oh, fine,
How about some beer and conversation?
I think that's a great idea. What are we drinking?
So this is a homebrewed porter.
Excellent.
All right.
Good choice.
So what's on your mind?
Well, we did a short show some time back about the 14th Amendment.
Right.
And birthright citizenship.
Right.
I thought at the time, well, it's in the Constitution. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then once somebody pointed out the language of it, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I think there's a solid case to challenge how we have interpreted the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
And so we ended the show with, well, hopefully one day the Supreme Court will, take it up, and they are.
And
next
they are.
month.
That's fantastic.
So
that'll be good.
it's coming up. So I'd like to talk about that even further.
Okay. So maybe we can predict what the Supreme Court's going to do. All right. So here's a homebrew porter. It is pretty much a straight down the line porter. There's nothing surprising about it. I used English yeast and English hops, and it's just, straight porter.
Yes, it is, and it's as dark as it needs to be. Not as carbonated as it needs to be, but it's very nice.
Yeah. The carbonation was my CO2 tank ran out. And
that'll happen.
Yeah, so it's not as carbonated as I would like, but had to stick the second CO2 tank on there. Anyway, good flavor though.
No, very good. Yeah, very good.
All right.
So the 14th Amendment. So they're telling me, well, there it is. If you're born on American soil, you're an American. And I'm like, gosh, now we have to get another amendment. Well, that ain't happening.
It all hinges on the phrase, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Okay, and then once somebody pointed it out, I'm like, all right, let me see if I can find it in this amendment somewhere. Well, it's the first sentence.
Yeah, so all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, the question here would be, what work is and subject to the jurisdiction thereof doing? Well, because you could have just said all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
Is it in any way related to the fact that it was done in 1868?
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay,
and
the whole point.
Yeah. The whole point was to give rights to freed slaves, to make sure that they were citizens.
Right. So they don't have jurisdiction. They're not the citizen of anywhere else. That's what that section means.
That's right.
Who's not already a citizen of somewhere else.
Yes.
And you're like, so what are these people who are walking around in our...
Okay, good jump.
Who are, now in our country, who are now no longer property, who are now human beings, who all the rights of everybody else. What exactly are they? How do we classify them?
Right.
Well,
yes.
How do you define this thing?
And you know that there was talk about they're free, but we're not going to make them citizens. We're not going to let them vote.
Right.
There was all that kind of thing going on.
Right, and so that was going on for 3 years, and they finally got together.
They said, no, look, they are citizens of the United States. And
so specifically, what they must be saying is, we don't mean ambassadors who are here.
Right.
What we don't mean are tourists.
Right.
And we certainly don't mean people who swam across a river in the middle of the night and came here with pregnant.
Right.
So in any
so
kind
that
of
they could drop a baby in.
in any kind of, you don't even have to be a full-blown originalist to interpret that. That's not what they meant.
Yes, it certainly seems to me. Now, in a very strange turn of events, the liberals will say, oh, we should go with the plain reading of the Constitution. But they interpret the plain reading as meaning all persons, if you're subject to the jurisdiction, well, of course you're subject to the jurisdiction. If you're in the land, then the laws apply to you. You're subject to the jurisdiction, right? But like you say, that's not what that phrase was meant to do.
Yes, in the original historical context, it doesn't. And like you said, what's the point of jamming that into the middle of the sentence?
Right, because otherwise you could have just said, all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. That would have done all the work that you need.
Yeah.
Right.
So I am seeing that I'm glad to see. Now, what would it take? I wonder. I don't have the information in front of me. Mm-hmm. The person who has standing to get this case up there, like, where would you stand to say this is affecting me when we need to work it out?
Well, a state could. A state could say you're loading me up with
Okay.
with a bunch of kids who are now citizens that I have to provide for in a certain way. That might be standing.
But as far as the anchor baby thing goes,
Yeah.
I just don't know why you go, well, the child is an American citizen, therefore the parents and all their brothers and sisters get this. It's like, all right, you can leave the kid here with somebody else if you want, or you take him back and he's free to come back as a citizen whenever. But that doesn't mean
their whole family.
The whole family.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's a little silly. The other thing is, I was curious, like, what other countries do this, and it's mostly the Americas. Like, other countries around the world don't, but Brazil and Mexico and other countries in the Americas do have birthright citizenship.
Just showing up and dropping a baby?
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly the same as the American version, but they have some version of it where being born in the territory qualifies you to be a citizen. Well, getting a little visitor on the show today. A persistent visitor.
So there's not just... So it isn't just a matter of people who come in knowing that they're... Or somebody who's here illegally, then has a baby. Mm-hmm. It's more pernicious than that.
Yes.
There's actually an industry.
Yeah. Because if you're in another country and you want your children to do well, and all parents want their children to do well, what better can you do for them than to let them be American citizens so that they can prosper? Well,
that's very generous when you're talking about any random non-American.
Right.
The Chinese play the long game.
Yes. Yes.
So
they have a different strategy.
This is a different strategy. There are birth tourism companies.
Yeah.
There are Chinese-owned surrogacy businesses.
Right. And those things are creepy. The surrogacy thing is really, really creepy because you don't know what in the world is going on. There was a house in California that had like 25 children, all between 2 and 3 years old. With this Chinese family was getting these surrogacy kids, and they're all these 3-year-olds, and you have to wonder what is really going on here.
No, that is really
creepy.
Uncomfortable. So how about this one here? This is from Global Baby 8, a Shanghai-based birth tourism company.
Okay.
Okay. So you have an economy package at $14,000.
Right.
But this is. You're pregnant, and you come over here to have the baby. Well, what happened? I'm going to see if I got my information on this. I don't have. Under Obama, they said to boost tourism in the North Mariana Islands. I didn't even know we had such a thing, but it's over there by Guam,
right? A
territory. It's based mostly tourism, so they said you don't have to have a visa to. Without a visa, you can come here for 45 days. Mm-hmm. And the idea was to boost tourism. Well, it boosted a certain type of tourism. So here's the Global Baby 8 Supreme package at $45,000.
Okay.
You get a luxury detached villa, personalized escort, 3 shopping and leisure trips per week, a complimentary island tour, and a one-on-one postpartum nanny service.
Postpartum? How did they add that in there?
to help with cooking, cleaning, and childcare, as well as a 1-month birthday party for the newborn.
How often do you look at a vacation package and it talks about postpartum care?
So that's a package that you can get, and so it's 45 days. So you come over 15 days before. You still have 30 days. You get your birthday party, and now you go home with your baby draped in an American flag.
Baby American citizen, yeah.
All right. It gets a little weirder. Tell me if you see anything wrong with this.
Okay.
A surrogacy.
Right.
So what if a guy in Shanghai, 41-year-old single man, sends a sperm sample by courier to an American territory.
Right.
Where there's a Chinese-owned surrogacy company,
right? And
you buy an egg from an American woman and rent her womb for 9 months,
right?
And then that child is then delivered back to you in your apartment and now you have an American citizen child.
Okay, let me just say.
Is there anything creepy about this?
Okay, let me just say that it's creepy just inherently. I mean, the whole surrogacy thing.
So many levels.
The whole like leave aside the international citizen.
We can leave that away.
Leave that aside. Just the surrogacy thing is creepy to begin with. Like this idea of like creating a baby in a petri dish and sticking it in a woman or something like that. That's I don't think that's right. But leaving that aside, could someone possibly use that to undermine, to create a bunch of citizens that they are going to then train in their communist hellhole and then send back here as U.S. citizens?
Yes, who except for those first 15 days, has never set foot on American soil, and they show up at 18 as U.S. citizens who can run for office, vote, get a job in a sensitive area, whatever.
Right. Yeah. After they've been trained by our enemies.
Yes,
I mean,
we don't think that far ahead.
No, and other people take the exceptions in our stupid laws and drive trucks through them, and put us at risk because of it. So I think that sort of thing obviously has to be clamped down on. Why in the world, even if you're going to have this surrogacy business, why in the world would you allow it for foreigners to be involved?
I know. And well, go ahead.
I mean, if you want, I'm not in favor of it at all. But if you want to promote it for the sake of, we want to increase the birth rate, we want to help people have children, blah blah blah. Okay, fine.
How hard would it be to say, well, not just for anybody?
Yeah, for citizens, for Americans. Americans can do. Now, I don't want them doing it at all, but if they're going to do it, then how about if you just limit it to Americans?
And that they have it's a Chinese-owned surrogacy company.
And nobody. It's like I'm constantly asking myself this question: who is minding the store? Who, like, on so many levels, in like 50 different ways, you have to ask yourself, who was paying attention when this was going on? Like, who was reading the reports? Who was paying attention?
Right. And when it comes to somebody's attention, and then there's like a 15-minute moment of outrage and a couple of politicians in front of the camera.
Right.
How come there's never any follow-up? Does it ever seem like anything gets done?
No.
It's just like, we've discovered this thing. We've got some outrage. We're mad. We're gonna have some meetings about this. And then it falls off the page and nobody knows. Exactly.
Congressional hearings are a
Oh,
way for them to say,
watch.
I care. Watch. Look at what I said on YouTube about that thing.
I'm going to be doing some finger wagging.
I know. Tell you the truth.
Strongly worded statements.
I'm going to be really mean to that person, and then nothing ever comes of it.
No.
Yeah.
And this would be the thing where you. So the thing I was hearing about single men being surrogate fathers.
I know.
Is that even a possible thing?
It's like going out and buying a new pair of boots or something. Like, what? We're treating having a child not as in the interest of the child. We're treating it as some accessory that the grown-up wants because for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I want to have a child because that makes me seem like a more important person or whatever. And obviously there are some people who do that the natural way. That's why they want to have a kid. But why should we go to extra efforts to allow somebody to bring a child into the world when they already are showing that they're jerks and they're just doing it for the wrong reason?
You mean because we have the adoption policy doesn't include limits?
It certainly should.
Well, you know what?
It should be in the interest of the child.
But in Washington or Oregon, you get, like you should, you get background checks, financial checks. I mean, that all of that stuff should happen and does.
Yes.
But you had to promise that if the child grows up and wants to change their yes, so basically Christian families were discriminated against adopting because they might not use the right pronouns should their child 13 years from now decide to.
Yeah.
So that's an area where you really clamp down.
Oh yeah.
But if they're Chinese communists,
then don't clamp down on them.
That's not an issue.
What a screwed up world.
But I think
unbelievable.
I think I'm going to circle back to the 14th Amendment.
Okay.
Tell me about the Obergefell decision.
Oh my
How is
gosh.
that related to the 14th
So do you remember
Amendment?
what Antonin Scalia said about the Obergefell decision?
No.
He said, if I had signed on to the decision, I would have to walk around with my head in a paper bag for the rest of my life. Something along those
Okay.
lines. He said this decision was so bad that he would be embarrassed to have his name associated with it for the rest of his life.
Right.
So Obergefell was saying that the Constitution guarantees a right for gay people to get married.
Yeah.
Like, what in the Constitution even remotely has anything to do with that?
Right. So what we have here, constitutionality of bans on recognizing same-sex marriage were among the various issues jointly presented in several related cases heard by a 3-judge panel of the United States Court of Appeals in the Sixth Circuit in August of 2014. So So this was to address this panel that
Right.
said you can't have same-sex marriages,
Right.
right? So it came down to
It's 5-4. Anthony Kennedy wrote it, right?
equal protection under the law,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So so that is also part of the 14th. That is not in Section 1 that we started the
Right.
show with, but so using that gay people can get married means you can't discriminate against gay people also adopting children,
Yeah.
which I think turns out to be also against single people adopting children.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that you can't... I mean, marriage is a man and a woman. That's what it is. So to say that you're discriminating against a man who wants to marry a man, it's like saying, okay, I want to have a basketball team with 8 players. No, that's not the way basketball. You have 5
And
players.
using a football.
Right, we want to have a football, and yeah. So marriage is a man and a woman. So saying that you're discriminating against them because you're 2 men, that's just like I don't know how you can be so dumb, but that's what we get.
Well, after the Roe v. Wade got turned over,
Yeah.
there was some panic about them going after Obergefell.
God willing.
And the creek don't rise. Yeah, because it meant we don't think that this decision was made properly under the Constitution, and that's what the Supreme Court is for. And
Yeah.
so it would be like abortion is now, that states would then you could still go to a gay
Well, then you
state.
have a problem. You have a problem with marriage, though, in that other states have to recognize a marriage.
So let's just say so you get married in Vermont and then you move to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma has to recognize that marriage, don't they? I'm pretty sure they have to. That's like the equal credit or equal faith and credit clause or something like that. That if you
So what do you say? What would be the downside of saying we're not going to? It's not going to be the law of the land because it's really can't be found in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a state's matter, and
I think I'm not a lawyer, as I tell people frequently, but I think that because of the equal faith and credit clause, which says that each state has to recognize what other states have done, that if some state decided to allow same-sex marriage, the other states would have to recognize
okay,
it.
then what is everybody worried about Obergefell being turned over for? If look, all we need is one state. Everybody can go get married in Vermont, and and even if the other states don't allow you to be married in their state.
Yeah. Now, of course, I could be wrong about that too, but I mean, I don't want it anywhere. I don't want it in any state. So I want Obergefell to be overturned and to say this is an abomination. And you can't use that language. Just say this is the dumbest idea since squished
if
bread.
you want all of the legal benefits, whatever, if you call them benefits, of marriage, well, you could arrange that sort of legal arrangement. Like, all right, you have a thing called a civil union, right? This civil union means, they can come visit you in the hospital and they can, inherit your stuff. And if you want to create that thing, then it will be its own thing. But it won't be marriage.
Yeah.
And But I'm sure it will achieve all of the things that. But what they'll say, it will achieve almost all the things. We want it to be called marriage.
Yeah, because what they're after is not. They're
not
not after the things that they claim to be after. What they're after is people affirming this status. That's what they're after.
That there is absolutely no difference whatsoever, and we want everyone to say that loudly and clearly.
Yeah.
When of course any 5-year-old can look at various couples and go,
what's going on there?
That's a couple. That's a couple. That's two dudes.
Right.
Right. It's just not going to happen. Yes. All right. Back to citizenship.
Okay.
There's another issue at hand. There has been. Let me see if I've got some. I do like Ana Paulina Luna, who she's a representative from Florida, but she is Mexican heritage from California. She's a good. She says she wants to call for a ban on dual citizens from serving in Congress.
Well, I don't see how anything could be more obvious than that. If you're serving in Congress, your loyalty has to be to the United States.
But there are other. Hold on, let's do this one second. The first one is just like a president. Yeah. You have to be born in America.
Yes.
How do you feel about that for Congress people?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about that
I agree.
because we have some good congressmen who have been born in other countries and.
What if Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to run for senator?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're not going to let that guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So
and then when you look at, I have a list here of people who were not born in the United States, and you have.
You have some wackos and you have some good ones.
And you have some good ones, and just because Ilhan Omar and Jalapalal hate this country,
right?
That can't be used. But so let's just say we're not going that far.
Right.
Only for presidents not born in Kenya. And now we move on to the dual citizenship.
Right. Yeah.
It's easy.
I think it's as obvious as can be. How could you represent the United States if you have loyalty to some other country? I don't understand that.
No, in a way, I feel like just becoming a citizen, even if you're a street sweeper. Mm-hmm. I still don't know what this whole dual citizenship thing is. I mean, how many does every country acknowledge dual citizenship, or is it just like an American thing?
What if we go to war with the country that you're a dual citizen of?
Yeah, I can be counting on you to not join their army instead,
or undermine us from within, or whatever. And I just don't understand it. If you're a citizen of this country and not any other country, it seems like an exclusive relationship.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know that Mrs. Pigweed still has her Mexican passport, and she was just like and. Maybe even an ID. She's like, well, what if I want to buy land there or something like that?
Right.
Or but when she travels, she's like, it's so much easier to travel as a U.S. citizen. So she does that. But she was the question never came up.
Yeah.
Was, well, are you going to give up? So nobody even asked you the question. You're not going to do it. But I would say, really, for anybody, make your choice.
Yeah.
Now,
what about these surrogacy kids? who come to the Marianas Islands and are there for 10 minutes and become U.S. citizens and then go back to China? Are they going to have dual U.S.-Chinese citizenship?
Yep. How do you feel about that?
But come on. I mean,
how about this? So when they start, a session of Congress, there's a gavel. Do they do a prayer?
I think they do a prayer, and I think they probably do the Pledge of Allegiance or something.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do they stand up and put their hands on their hearts? And do we have videotape of Jalapalal and Ilhan Omar and that other Rashida Tlaib mouthing the actual words of I pledge allegiance?
I think they took a knee.
Right. I want to see their faces saying the words, I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Yeah.
Hey, did you do that every day in elementary school? Yeah. Through high school, right? Did we do that in high school?
I don't remember it in high school.
Yeah, was that like maybe the time that we started to phase that out? Or we had a flag?
Yeah. I don't think we did it in high school.
How about now? I guess I could ask my grands.
I doubt they do it now. Yeah.
What the hell's up with that?
They probably have to pledge allegiance to the trans flag or something.
I know. So let me see. I've got some other people in here. I've got Ted Cruz on here. Now, Ted Cruz ran for president, and it says he was born in Calgary, Canada. What's up with that?
So apparently his mother was a U.S. citizen. So for some technical reason, he's considered a U.S. citizen.
Oh, I see. So was the father Canadian?
I thought the father was Cuban.
I know. I thought that his Cuban heritage, maybe they're just up there for work or something. But all right. So that's how that one worked. Mazie Hirono from Hawaii was actually born in Japan.
And is about as smart as this pen.
I mean, don't you think of Japanese women as just being particularly smart?
I do.
How did they come up with they chose the dumbest one?
They said, look, the island, the average IQ of the island has dropped 20 points because you are here. So they had to ship her to the United States.
Right, and then she gets here, and they're like, well, we have to get somebody from Japan in there, and they're going, well, she's too dumb to be a Republican. We'll run her. Tammy Duckworth.
Huh.
Who, appreciate her service.
Yeah. She's
got lost 2 legs, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Born in Bangkok, Thailand. Wait a minute. Our guy, if you realize this, but our guy Chris Van Hollen, who, he has margaritas with the MS-13 guys, actually born in Pakistan. He doesn't look really Pakistan.
And it was probably parents were diplomats or something.
Something like that. And Rashida Tlaib, who pledges allegiance to the Palestinian flag,
right?
Which was
born in Detroit.
Yeah, born in Detroit. Which is just a made-up flag. That was never a flag. But
there was never any country.
No, this comes with what's his name? The beard.
Yasser Arafat. Yasser Arafat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that was invented. Mm. So we have a lot of non.
And I want US to have born. I want to have people from other cultures coming in the United States. But
ones that come here, like the Victoria Sparts, who comes from the Ukraine, is like, look, I know what communism looks like.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, you do not want that. You do want those people. I have where's my Cuban guy here?
Carlos Jimenez.
Yes, from Florida. Gosh, that he's a great American.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yes, I want basically what I want, and I know this is completely selfish, but that's good. I want our country to be the best country in the world. I want the best people from all the other countries in the world to come here.
I like your selfishness.
That's right. That's what I want. I want the top Indians, the top Chinese, the top Pakistanis, the top everybody to come here, enrich our culture, help us continue to be the greatest country in the world. That's fantastic.
Renounce their previous citizenship, pledge allegiance to the flag,
and become Americans.
And contribute in the way that we
what I don't want is 70 IQ people from, that are like contributing nothing to this country. Why are you bringing them in? What is the good to the United States of bringing these people in?
Yes, and especially when we've got all the numbers, when you can demographically identify who's producing and who is not. Mm-hmm. When you look at the 50,000 Afghanis that came in under Joe Biden, you go 84% are on welfare, or
right.
Whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
Or you can or this group leads all nationalities in crime and rape.
Right.
Then you just start going, okay, less of you, more of you.
Yes.
Why in the hell wouldn't you?
Shouldn't the interest of the U.S. government be to protect the United States and U.S. citizens and their interests and make the United States the best country?
Our job is we're not a welfare system like, it's going to make our country worse, but it makes their lives better. Well, I don't care.
That's not your business.
It's not and that's not what you're elected for.
Yeah.
So now we get to. Mm-hmm. So now we're talking about eliminating people that shouldn't ever come here at all.
Right.
We're kicking people out who are useless.
Yeah.
What about denaturalization?
So what exactly do you mean by that? So naturalization means Mrs. Crowhill is a naturalized U.S. citizen.
Uh-huh.
But so you're saying that somebody comes from some other country, they become a naturalized U.S. citizen, and then because
they still are not a full citizen.
Right.
They're still a little naturalized in the front, which means not the same. And part of that not the same means it can still be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what are the conditions for that? I would say, first off, you're interviewed, right? You're asked questions. And one of these questions is going to be, are you a member of a communist party? Are you a supporter of terrorism?
Right.
You say no, and then you're naturalized, and then later on we find out that you should have said
Do we
yes.
actually ask those questions? I mean, I would be happy if we actually did ask, are you a communist? Do we still do that?
Yeah, well, this is Rubio was dragged down in front, and one of the squad or something is chastising him about, do you believe in free speech or not? Because they wanted to kick out these people, these anti-American protesters on college campuses who are here on visas.
Yeah.
He says a visa is not a right.
Yeah.
He says if we know that you're a supporter of ISIS, we don't give you a visa. So if you lie and then you come here and we find out that you're a supporter of ISIS, we can kick you out.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't say it the first time. We're finding out that you lied. You violate. We wouldn't have let you in the first time.
Yeah.
So it just seems very simple.
Yes. It does seem very simple. And why would you want people in your country like that? Like, what country in the world does something that stupid? Bring people into their country that are trying to undermine the country. Why would you do that?
Who openly state death to America, and then there's one party that says that's free speech.
Yes.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
So
denaturalization would be somebody who came into the country, became a U.S. citizen, but now is like an enemy of the United States. So you say, well, never mind, you're not a citizen anymore.
Yeah, you lied on the
application.
on the application, or maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm also okay with you were a perfectly nice gentleman when you came here. Then you got radicalized, and became Death to America guy. Well, we can't really kick American citizens out. I'd like to.
See, I'm not so sure about that because if they came in under false pretenses, and we find out they came in under false pretenses, absolutely get rid of them, no question.
I think that legally is already the case. I'm taking it a bit further. Go ahead.
So the reason I would object to that is because what about somebody who's born an American citizen and then becomes a, I hate America, whatever person?
Yeah.
Why not use the same logic to say they're no longer an American citizen?
Well, just because we don't have anywhere to kick them out to.
Okay. I mean,
that's not all I've got. How about this here? Now there is another one. Hold on. Let me see if I've got it in my notes that had to do with in terms of denaturalization policy. It has a window. Maybe you like this one.
Okay.
You can be, you have to behave for at least 10 years. And I think it was defrauding the government or whatever. Like if you can keep your nose clean for 10 years and then you do something, well, you're punished in the same way American citizen is, which means you're not denaturalized. But here I'm back to Anna Paulina. She says, today I referred any and every criminal found guilty of fraud regarding Minnesota fraud scheme to be denaturalized and sent for detainment to El Salvador's prison. U.S. citizenship is not a right, and according to legal statute, any person found... Oh, this is it. Any person found guilty of fraud within the first 10 years of being naturalized can be legally denaturalized.
Wow. That's already the case?
I take frauding the American people very seriously. This is a zero tolerance policy. But you know what? They have a little button on there, like the little grok will check it for you.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I didn't do that.
Didn't do that.
So,
not sure if that's it.
But, you have the X's, right? They're quotes attributed to people.
I mean, I can understand that concept.
I'm cool with
like let's say you have two rival gangs, and somebody from the rival gang wants to join the other gang. right?
Right.
And they come along and they're like, we don't know if you're serious or if you're like. So I could understand them letting them in and saying, okay, fine, we'll let you in on a provision.
Yeah, right. A probationary
thing. Like you've got to kill the people we tell you to kill for the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years, and then you become right now you're just a prospect.
Yeah.
Then you become full member.
Then you become a full member. So I mean, obviously there are situations where that kind of standard would apply.
Right. So I think I just think that we should not consider denaturalization to be some horrifying thing that's never been done. I think it's a really good thing. It probably needs to be done, and
especially
with limited circumstances.
Yeah.
But the minute you become a naturalized citizen, doesn't mean you become a 100% full citizen.
What we have to remember is that we've been operating under an absolutely crazy system for like the past 30, 40. I mean, under Ronald Reagan, people were complaining about.
Since about 1965.
Yeah, there's been this long-term craziness of bringing people in that were not properly vetting, that were not thinking, is this in the interest of the United States?
Yes, that was. It was like built into the language was of good standing and good moral character, or something like that.
Yeah,
and that it preferenced Western Europe.
Yeah.
Because, they are going to.
They're more like us.
They're more like us. They're going to fit in. And then Ted Kennedy and who else said, no, we're cutting all of that out. Everybody in the world is equal. We have no particular concern about their background, provided that they're not already criminals. But I don't know if that would even stop.
But that didn't stop Joe Biden. He just brought all kinds of people in. No matter what they were.
Right. I mean, right. So at least the Ted Kennedy thing, as part of the legal process, and then Joe Biden's like, legal process, shmashash.
Right, forget that.
Bring them in.
Bring them all in.
And then we'll overwhelm the system. Eventually, we'll just have to go, all right, everybody's a citizen.
Yeah.
And here, by the way, don't forget to vote blue.
So the thing is that we've been completely nuts for so long that obviously there has to be some pushback. Obviously, we have to push things back towards sanity. And a lot of people are going to think that's not fair, that's not right, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, we're going to have to start getting tough.
Right, this is what happens is something goes radically 10 steps this way. If you try to bring it back 4 steps, you're a right-wing monster.
Well, you know what Jonathan Swift defined precedent?
Go ahead.
Precedent is that which was done illegally before can be done legally now.
Kind of, yeah. So, one last thing. Were you big birther guy?
No, I never really followed that very much. I kind of read some of the articles here and there. I thought the real problem in my mind with that whole story was that it didn't really matter what the facts said or anything. There was only one position that you were allowed to take on that story.
Yes, because they had all of the forces of media / academia and whoever else, Hollywood, had all lined themselves up to discredit anybody. That's where they invented the birther name, right?
Right.
We need a name that makes you sound like a kook.
Right.
And that way, if you are a legitimate journalist and you wanted to pursue that, you might ruin your career by pursuing that.
Yes.
So I was always like, well, it's not getting much legs, really.
Yeah.
And everybody's being called a kook. So, I'm not going to get on board with that. Well, now that I don't care about that anymore, I think there's more to it than...
I'm sure there's more to it. Now, I'm not saying one way or the other, but I'm sure there's more to it because you were not... Anything that you're not allowed to investigate, obviously there's something there. That's why they don't want you to investigate.
Yeah. I think... maybe they're right. Maybe it's just a total distraction by a bunch of nut jobs. But...
When somebody tells
you, it didn't really get quite a fair shake.
Yeah, when somebody tells you you may not look over there, you may not go in that box, there's a reason. Yeah.
Okay, so the 14th Amendment will be heard on April 1st, and we're expecting something late June or July.
Okay.
And so we'll do a
Follow-up show?
We'll do a
Okay,
follow-up.
prediction. Are they going to overturn
I think
birthright
it's easy.
citizenship? I think they will. I think they will overturn birthright citizenship.
And now, question. Retroactive?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would say no. They'll only overturn it prospectively.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's probably the way to do it.
All right, well, you heard it here,
You
kids.
heard it here first.
All right.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends.
Blue suit in the sunshine.